After signing up for TripSheetsOnline.com, powered by Over the Road Permits service, you will be taken to your account area where you will complete all your information for your name, your email, your phone number, the company information, physical and mailing address, additional information which would have your IFTA, IRP jurisdictions if required, and your information for the numbers of different states. You can also change your password at this time, and then when ready you can save your account. After you have completed your account information, you will add a truck. When you're adding a truck, you will be asked to select the truck type. You have only two types, either a diesel truck or a diesel semi. After that, you must use a unit number. You must also include a user name, and this is for the driver if you have multiple trucks, or the mobile login. This is the only way that you will be able to log into the mobile site. Of course, you will also need the password for that mobile login, the rest of the general information for your truck. Then you save your truck details. If you have more than one truck, you would click Add a Truck, and you would do that for all of your trucks. Now, once you start your trips, it is a detailed information where you will select the truck you want, the start date. You will put your trip ID number in, or name, anything you want that would indicate what trip it is. The month that you're going to report this trip in, of course, the reporting year, whether you're loaded or not, the driver's name, any of the other information that is required. Then you continue to your origin and destination stops. At this time, you will notice that there are a couple things that are required, which is the trip number. Once you go to the origin and destination, you have an origin label. This is so that you can identify that trip of where you're going, or outbound, or any other information that would help you. If you've already used this, your trip will start where you left off on the previous trip. Then if you're going, say, to up north or to wherever you're going, and you know the postal code, that's the best way to use it. And the other way is also the destination label saying where you're going. But if not, if you don't have the postal code, you can just write in the city and, of course, the state. And if you have any stops, this is the time to add those stops. Then you start your trip. Once your trip is calculated, it will show you the trip details. It will show you where you're going to, right here, how many miles in each state. And then when you're ready to purchase fuel, you just come over and say, I am going to buy some fuel, 75.3245 gallons, and I'm going to buy some in Georgia at 50.123, and then you save your fuel entries. Simple as that. And here's your driving directions if you need them. You can actually click on that. You can see your origin and destination. This is changeable at any time. So if you do change your trip, you just make sure that you have to save the origin and destination and recalculate. If there are any stops, they would be labeled here. You can add stops, and if you do use stops, then by all means you could change those stops up and down, by the way, if you are going somewhere. So now I've added a stop in Miami, and then I'm going to select another stop in, say, Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm going to add that stop. And once that's in there, you can see now that you can move your stops up and down. I recalculated my routes and data. My fuel and mileage has changed. As you can see, the mileage has changed. The driving directions have changed. Now it's showing going out of Tampa into Miami, then to Jacksonville, and then on to Atlanta, Georgia. Here's your general information, which again you can also change if need be. And then once you finish this trip, you simply put your end date in, the date that you finish. You put your signature for your truck driver. You notice that it's going to be emailed to whomever is in there. Then you finish and generate that trip. Once that trip is done, it will automatically be emailed to whoever's email information is in there. You can also download the trip, and you can print it from here. And you can see from Florida to Florida, because we went from Florida, from Tampa to Miami to Jacksonville, then to Georgia. So you can see that we went Florida to Florida, Florida to Florida, Florida to Georgia. And in the Georgia, from Florida to Georgia, shows all the routes that you took. You scroll down, here are your actual routes that you took. And then if you needed to print your driving directions, it would have been on the other page. Once you're finished with this, it will show up in your summary. So now you can look at your summary and say, okay, here's all my trips that I've taken with trip numbers. And you notice that I do have trips that are the same, which they shouldn't be, but just to show you that. If you click here, you can view the trip sheet. If you click over here, you can actually go back in and edit this trip. Once everything is done, then you have the opportunity for different types of reports. Here's a recap report, so you can select the truck. If you have multiple trucks, you can select them all or any one or individuals. If you have multiple trucks, you can break them down by individual trucks all at one time. And of course, you have the month, the quarter recap, January through December annual fiscal year, and IRP year, July to June. Okay, you can select one. I can select the month that I want to run. I can generate the recap. It will take a moment or two, and then I click on it, and here's my recap, and it shows all of the miles that I have operated: miles, total miles, percentage miles, gallons used, gallons purchased. Here's my MPG, the recap of July. Once I'm done, I can either do another recap, or if I'm done with my quarterly returns, I can come in and say, okay, I want a second quarter because the rates for the third quarter are not in there. I can generate my tax return, and it will create a tax return for that state. Or if it's a generic, it would be a generic Schedule A. And then, of course, your Schedule B showing your breakdown of your states and your fuel and your miles being used. Now, if I wanted to create another return, if you'll see over here is quarterly if to Schedule B. Again, this is if you only had multiple trucks. You could say, I want all the trucks or just these 2 or 3 trucks, and then you can get a breakdown by the individual truck so that you can see what each truck costs you. Then when finished, you can simply log out and you're done.